Give me the car keys. I'm not asking you twice. Give me the car keys. All right. Step out.
I don't know.
I step out. I need to figure out. I cannot let you in the car.
If I step out, you're gonna punch me.
I'm not gonna punch you, bro. No, I promise you.
You will.
I promise you.
You will. If I step out, you're gonna punch me.
Raise it 103.
Unit County Court 15th and 137.
Is this?
Yeah.
All right, step out of the car.
That's not my dad.
Step out of the car, bro. Step out of the car.
Step out of
the car. Step out of the car. Stay here. I need to figure out what's going on. That's all.
Razor 103.
And what was possibly probably the fastest conclusion to a kidnapping / car theft ever, Deputy Jonathan Pazmino Alvarez of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office down in Florida, he brought into this entire thing calmly and arrested that Kevin Smith in that stolen truck with 2 children, as you see over on the other side of him. There's a lot of layers to this, because I want to bring this forward because it's a story of decent police working is actually done, the calmness of it, even though this was like a very, very serious and dangerous situation, in my opinion. Let's look at how this whole thing started, because you saw how calm he was once he arrested the suspect, but this is the approach, which many officers are pretty afraid of. Let's watch.
Stop the truck! Now! Pull into the parking lot! Why are you doing with the kids? What's going on? Roll the window down, bro.
I'm just gonna my car.
This is not your car? Step out of the car. Step out of the car, bro. Okay, step out of the car. Help me out here. Is that you? All right, let me figure it out. Okay, put that bottle away. Put that bottle away. I cannot let you. Give me the car keys. Give me the car keys. Give me the car keys.
I know where your dad is.
I know where dad is. I saw him running this way.
So how'd this happen so quickly? Deputy Jonathan Pazmino Alvarez was flagged down on Monday around 6:40 p.m. near the area of East 137th, that's that area in Tampa, by a man who said his truck had just been stolen with his 2 young children still inside. So within minutes, that same deputy arrested Kevin Smith, as we saw, who faces 2 counts of felony kidnapping and 1 count of grand theft of a motor vehicle charges. That's according to the sheriff's office. Everyone was so calm here. It's tripping me out, Jordan, because those kids chilling in the side were like, hey, he's not my dad. Here's a few details. One of the children tells the deputy, in case you guys couldn't hear it, that Smith robbed their dad's car. That's what the body cam showed. And also during that video, you can see the deputy talking off camera to someone, asking, is this him? A child in the passenger seat then says, that's not my dad. Very calmly, not diving out of the car like I would have been. Deputy said that the man behind the wheel was 37-year-old Kevin Smith, and he has a criminal history that dates back to 2003. And those 2 kids were 4 and 8 years old. Could have been so much worse. Here's a mugshot of the guy that they arrested. But again, Jordan, I know we talk about cops and the bad work that they do, but this is, again, the guy was saying, when I get out, you're gonna punch me. There's this distrust. Was there anger? Was there tasers? Was there a baton? Was there guns? All that, and they got the guy because they just followed the procedures and pulled him out of the car like they needed to, without escalating the anger and emotion around this.
First and foremost, I'm glad the kids are okay. That's probably deeply traumatizing for them and very scary for the dad. But this demonstrates the restraint that officers can and should use in these situations. I saw some people over in Twitch chat pointing out, like, it probably would have been very different if the suspect didn't look like that, unfortunately, because of the racial bias and inherent bias in our police. You don't want a worse outcome. I think a lot of people have a knee-jerk reaction to be like, well, why don't they do X, Y, Z? Look, like you see this a lot with mass shooters when they're captured and apprehended and taken out in cuffs, especially if they're white. There's a lot of people who have this knee-jerk reaction, be like, oh, they didn't shoot him. Look, we don't want anybody to be shot, because there is no crime in this country whatsoever that the penalty is being killed on the spot. So, like, this is good. I don't want to like lift up the police, but like this is what should happen in every circumstance. Like this guy definitely was, a threat to the safety of those kids, but aggravating it and escalating it by the police would not have helped. So you don't want to see that in any circumstance.
It almost seems like an interaction that you have with someone when you're trying to get to the conclusion, not to satisfy your ego or your anger or your emotion. Because I'll tell you what, if I see someone that's in a car with 2 kids that aren't his, and they're like, that's not my dad, I get an emotional response because I'm a human, right? But your training is supposed to kick in and get you to that conclusion so you can help those parents and help those kids, not help yourself. The emotional response is personal. You have to work through that. That's what training does. That's what process does. That's what procedure is supposed to do. Maybe we can get a little bit more of that. So good job by that officer. I'm not sure what else he's done in his career, but that particular thing was good.